Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Robyn MacKillop, and today we are going to work on chemical equations for the science test. I was just telling Jim Setta, one of my students, these are not intuitive. So the first couple of times through, you may just think, I am never going to get this. You will get them, but it takes several times seeing how they work and what you're actually supposed to be doing. So don't fret if at first you're just like, I have no idea what this is. First time I saw them, I had no idea how I was supposed to teach them. So we will
Okay.
get them.
Okay.
All right. And hello, Nizam. I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll get moving on these.
Okay.
Okay. So
Ooh.
yes, these are what they, this is what they are.
Okay.
And the good thing is these are the C, the H, the O, the big letters, these are just the symbol for an element. You don't have to define them. They will never say, what is this? What is this product or this, whatever, it's glucose. But you will not have to do that. You will not have to say C6H12O6 is glucose. You won't even have to say carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So
Okay.
that part of the periodic table, you do not need to worry about. If the test wants you to give them an answer about an element, they will give you a portion of the periodic table so you have enough information. You don't have to commit any of this here to memory. Now, what this is saying, and there's a lot going on this page, I know, so let's look at a less busy one. Let me pull this down. What a chemical equation is basically taking two different compounds, whether it's a single element or it might be a double, like if we go down here, this is three different elements combined into one thing. What you're doing is you're taking an element, adding it to another element, and when you do that, it turns into something else entirely. And when we go back to this picture, if we took glucose, and this is a chemical compound of glucose, and we mixed it with oxygen, we would get carbon dioxide and water. So that's all this is doing. It looks a little bit mathy. It will be a little tiny bit mathy, but really it's just combining things. And when you do that, it turns into something else. The nice thing is the letters will stay the same. Here you have an FE and an O. You will still have an FE and an O. They won't add an element. They won't take one away. So at least you're dealing with the same letters, right? The same elements. The issues come with the numbers. So let's talk about the numbers. These little guys, C6H12O6, these are subscripts. Basically, this is 6 atoms of C, 12 atoms of H, 6 atoms of oxygen. You cannot change these little numbers. They are permanent because that's how many they need in order to make this glucose. So we don't alter the little numbers. However, you get here and you've got this big number in front. This is the number that we're going to be messing with. And this it basically is the same thing. This means we have 6 elements of O2.
Okay.
And we can change this number. And it's a lot. So don't panic yet.
Okay.
And the whole idea behind all of this is to make sure you have the same number of C's on both sides, the same number of H's on both sides, and the same number of O's on both sides. So even though this is really busy, let's look at something a little less busy. we're going to start, let's start with number 2, just because we're dealing with 2 elements. And in case you're interested, Fe is iron and O is oxygen. And so we're taking iron and oxygen, 2 atoms of oxygen, we're combining them and we're getting iron oxide. But you won't be asked to define any of that. So really what we're looking at is we've got an Fe on this side and an O, and we also have an Fe on this side and an O. So same exact elements, but here, this is a single Fe, right? It's all by itself, no numbers. We have one of those on this side, and we have 2 oxygens. Now we come over here, and even though these are combined, that little number is always attached to the letters before it. So this is now Fe2, which means we have 2 Fe's on this side, and the 3 is 3 oxygens. So you can see we're a little out of balance. We have 1 to 2, 2 to 3. We need all those numbers to be the same. We need the same number of O's and the same number of Fe's. Let me bring this down a bit there. That's a little better. And I'm going to pin that so it's easier to see when you watch the video, because I think many of you are going to watch the video on this one. All right. So back to this. We need to balance all of these. So let's look at the Fe's. If we've got 2 here, we need 2 here, right? So this is where we can alter the number in front. We can put a 2 in front. This is the same as having 2. We now have 2 on both sides. We have just balanced the Fe's. But now we have to get these O's balanced. When you've got 2 on one side and 3 on the other, think about lowest common denominator. What is the lowest number that both 2 and 3 go into evenly?
1.
A little bit higher. It'll always be bigger than the biggest number. I know it's just, it's math. I just threw math at you. So sorry. Right back into fractions and multiplication. So if you've got 2 of something and 3 of the other, and you need to get them up to the same number, 6 would be the lowest common.
So would it work if you just times those together?
Yes, it absolutely would. So we need to get these up to 6. That means we need to times this side by 2 and this side by 3. So, and you know what I did? I did this wrong. I'm going to write this one over because I shouldn't have started with the Fe's. Let me rewrite it because I'll confuse you otherwise. Plus O2 turns into Fe2O3. And again, we have 1 Fe on this side. We have 2 O's on this side. We have 2 Fe's to start on this side and 3 O's. So we're going to get those O's up to 6. We need to get them up to 6. We'll start with this one because it's the combo. That means because these 2 are connected, whatever we do in the front affects both. So let's deal with our O's. Let's get this up to 2 so we can have 6 O's, because that would be 3 times 2 is 6. This means we have 2 times little 3 is 6 O's. But what did I do when I added that 2 to the Fe? I bounced it up, didn't I?
Can you move your pen so I can see? Okay,
Yes, sorry about that. I
I don't
just
know what you
altered the FEs by putting that 2. So now I have 2 times 2.
Four.
Yep, I now have 4 FEs. So our O's match. That's great. However, our FEs are out of balance now. So there's
So
4.
why did you put the 2 up here on the in front of the FE?
Yeah.
Because we were balancing the O's first. So kind of ignore that. To get oxygen up to 6 so that both sides can match, we had to put that 2 in front. So we have 2 times 3 equals 6 oxygen.
Okay.
And we had to go to 6 because we had 2 over here and 3 over here. And if you think about it, how long is it going to take us to match? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got to get both sides up to 6. That's the only way we're going to get 2 and 3 to match. It's very
Okay.
confusing the first time through.
How about if we have other side, we have all 4.
Yes.
We're gonna put 2.
So on this one, we're going to put a 4 in front of it. And now this is 4. And we didn't finish balancing the O on this side. So what are we going to put in front to make this 6?
A 3.
You got it. You have now balanced that equation. You have 4 FEs on this side, 2 times 2, 4 FEs on this side. You have 3 times 2, 6 O's, and 2 times 3, 6 O's. It's not
Okay.
super intuitive.
Question. So are we starting on the right side first?
It doesn't really matter. The thing to do is to balance any combo first, because when they're alone, you can take it up as high as you need
Okay.
with whatever you put here. So always try to balance the combo first, because
Okay.
individual elements are just easier to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah, it was too fast. I would have had to balance that a second time. It would have worked. It just would have been longer. So let's try this one. This
Okay.
one might be a little bit cleaner. So we are looking at, there's 1 FE on this side. How many CLs do we have on this side?
2.
2.
Perfect. And then on this side, how many FEs?
3.
There's actually only 1. That 3 attaches only to the letters in front of it. And this will take a bit of getting used to. And I sent you a periodic table just so you could look these up if you wanted to. You'll never need to define them. It's iron and chlorine. So the chlorine has 3, but the iron only has 1 because there aren't no numbers around it yet.
But when you see all this letter, the 3 is like connect all of them.
Just this one. Now, if it looked like this, it would be for all of them.
The parentheses.
Yeah, but when there's no parentheses, and this happens, I don't think you'll see it on the GED test, but it happens all the time when you do these in chemistry class.
Okay, now
If
it
there's
makes
nothing delineating that 3, it attaches only to the CL.
okay.
The number in front will affect both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Makes
a little confusing at first. It's like,
Yeah.
why doesn't the 3 affect both?
Yeah.
So
This
the
is
D
half.
goes to the FE.
Yeah, the 3 goes to the CL, and there is no number for the FE, so you only have 1.
1.
But you do have how many CLs?
3.
Yep. And so now you've got to get these guys in balance. And, right now the FEs are great, but we know that it's going to be messy because we have to alter the CL here, which means we'll ultimately alter the FE. So to get CLs up to the same number, what number do they need to go to?
6.
Yep, we need to get them both to 6. So we're going to take this side times 3, this side times 2. And again, we cannot alter the small numbers. They are permanent. So we can mess around with the front number. We're going to put a 2 here. And we're only looking at CL right now. That's all we're going to deal with. 2 times 3 is 6. So we want 6 over here. What are we going to put in front to make that
3.
perfect? So now our CLs match. But what happened to FE over here when we put that 2?
It made it 2.
Yep,
become-
it sure did.
2 times 1.
Yep. And then what do we do over here? We got it all by itself.
2.
Perfect. Yeah, it's really nice when they're by themselves because it's so much easier to deal with. And that's
No,
it.
Okay, so
Balance.
what you multiplied the FE from the right side, you also do it
Okay.
to the left side?
Yeah. Because your
Okay.
whole goal is to have the same number of each element on each side. And I shouldn't have used such a dark pen. I should have used a pen that stood out a little better. So we added this, and this in order to balance.
Oh, no, we can say they are imbalancing now.
They are balanced now because we have 2 FEs on this side
So
and 2 FEs on this side. We have 6, 3 times 2. We have 6 CLs on this side and 2 times 3, 6 CLs on that side.
oh,
Okay.
makes
Quick
sense.
And that's, yeah, it's one of the reasons I write them this way.
Mhm.
It's easier to see. I can do my math here instead of here and getting a whole bunch of numbers and then getting all confused.
So question,
Yes,
the combo, we added the 2 to the L's to the CL.
yes.
So whatever the combo number that's added, it's gonna be, how can I put this? Lord, I lost my train of thought.
This-
I know what you're getting at. You'll get it.
Okay.
And-
It'll be added to both sides.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And I realize there's no parentheses around it, so it's a little odd. But the little number, the subscript number goes with the element it's attached to. It does not affect any other element. This is actually chlorine trioxide or something.
Okay.
It's an actual thing in and of itself. CL3 is something, it's some element. And
So
FE is
that's
And
how the
that's-
answer would be wrote out? the way
yeah,
you write it? Okay.
yeah, this is what it'll look like. 2 FE plus 3 CL2 turns
Oh.
into 2 FE CL3.
oh,
And
Okay.
it may be written, when you get to the test, it could actually have lines in front. And they'll put lines on everything, whether it needs a number or not. That was CL2. So you'll often be presented with them like this. And you don't always need a number. Sometimes they just don't require it. But that's how you'll see it likely on the test.
Hmm.
And they'll want you to balance, and then you'll write the numbers in. And what they'll do, your answers will look like, they'll be the whole thing. They'll be, say, 2 FE plus 4 CL2. They'll do this to you. Equals 2 FE CL3, and they'll do that 4 times. There will be an error in 3 of them, like right here is the error, and one of them will be that. So there'll be long answers. You'll have to check them. The nice thing about the fact that they tend to give you the answers, though, is sometimes you can reverse engineer it. Since you already have the numbers in the answer, you know, just based on this one, you've got 2 FE, and that says you've got 4, no, that says you've got 8 CLs, right? 4 times 2, and then 2 FEs and 6 CLs. So you know there's an error in it. And you can go back and you can check each one and do that. And you'll say, oh, nope, those don't match. Nope, those don't match. Oh, bing, 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 C. C is this one. It matches. And that's another thing. This is a matching game. So you are making sure there's the same number of each element on either side of the arrow. That's all you're doing. Sometimes you have to add, sometimes you have to multiply, but that's it for math. You're just making sure you have the same number of FEs on both sides and the same number of CL2s. It's a lot at first. This is not super, it doesn't make sense until it does. It takes several rounds for it to kind of gel. And so don't panic if you're feeling like, oh my God, how am I ever going to remember this? Believe it or not, at some point you'll just start doing them. Let's try number 4. And then we'll go up to number 3. And it's funny, I do this and it probably turns out that 3 is easier than 4, but we'll see. So we have got C2 H4 plus O2. When those are combined, they turn into CO2 and H2O. That's water. So we've got CHO, CHO. The nice thing, the elements will always be the same. They're just different numbers. So here, how many C's do we have?
2,
Yeah, 2,
Perfect. How many H's?
4,
4,
And how many O's?
2,
Same thing over here. How many C's?
2.
1.
1, yeah.
Oh.
And think of it like this. Sometimes that helps.
1.
And then how many H's?
2.
Now look what they did. They split your O's.
Yeah.
So you have 2 plus 1. Weird, right? You can thank them for splitting your O's. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And because they're split here, do the O's last. Otherwise, you could be bouncing back and forth trying to get them to balance. So let's start with the C's, 2 and 1. We need to get this one up to 2. So what are we going to do to make 2?
2
Multiply
times
it
1.
by 1.
Yeah, we're going to put a 2 in front because 2 times 1.
Is 2.
Yes. But what did we do to the O?
4. 2 times 2.
Yep. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And that's fine. We're not dealing with O's right now. We're only dealing with C's. Now,
Wait, do that part again.
okay, so when I put that 2 in front to balance the C, I
Mhm.
altered the O because it's
Okay.
one element now. So I took that 2 that I put in for the C, times it by the 2 O's that were already there. So now I have 4 O's, but I've got this other one out here plus 1. So 4 O's plus 1 is 5 O's. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
it's annoying. It's annoying to have splits, but ignore the O's until you're done with the other elements. So here, let's go to H's. Got 4 here and 2 here. What do we need to do to get this one up to 4?
2 times 2.
Yep, let's put a 2 in front. That gives us 2 times 2 H's is 4, but I've altered the O's again, haven't I?
2
How many
times 1.
O's do I now have? Yep, 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 4 over here. I now have 6. So now I'm going to come over here and fix this one. I've got 2 O's over here. How do I get it up to 6?
Why is 6? Is 7.
3.
So you've got 2 times 2,
Two.
you've got 4 O's here. And then 2 times 1, you've got 2 more here.
That's
4 and 2.
So mean you
Wouldn't
have to
it be
add
2
it one,
times 6?
1 with 1, not 2.
Yeah, you've got to, anytime you've got a big number, you multiply the big number by the small.
Mhm.
And then if you've
Okay,
got a
okay, okay,
split,
got it. Okay,
you
you have
add
to
them.
multiply.
Yeah, anytime you've got a big number, you multiply it by the
Okay.
little number.
2
And
by
if
2 multiply will be 4. And then 2
Yeah.
by multiply by 1 will be 2.
Perfect. And then because they're
Uh-huh.
split, add them.
But before you put 5.
Yeah, because when I altered, which one did I alter first? I altered this one first. So there were 4. I did
Yes.
not have the 2 there.
Yeah,
I
so
had
you
to
cannot
add the
multiply it.
1.
That's why.
Yeah, I had to add the 1. So I ended up with 5.
Okay, when you don't have that 2, you will have to add 1 or 2, whatever the number is there.
Yeah, you deal with the plus sign. And you
Yeah,
don't always have a split. It's not always that
Okay.
confusing, but oxygen often splits.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, not great. It's a little confusing, and we will do more. So, and this is just a tally. This is to keep me, as soon as I alter 1, it lets me know where I'm at. It doesn't really have anything to do with the next number. And you can tally them any way you want. I just do it this way because I can see it. I can see right now I've got 2 C's. Right now I've got 4 H's. Good, good. Now I'm still out of balance on the O's. I've got
Okay,
2.
just let me know one thing. Just let me know that before the C, where you added the 2, before the first, yeah, this one, where you add the 2, if in case you have wanted 3 number because you want to equalize that C2 also, and the other C where is 1, you want to add the 1.
You
you
don't
get
have to add the small numbers.
Okay.
You have to go
Because
1.
any element.
No, I'm just asking an example. Like you can say in the first line that C, if you have 3 there, and in your other next line the C, you have 1 there. So then what do you have to do?
And you just have to make sure that you've got the same number of C's on both sides.
Okay. If you don't have the number, you have to add the same number exact for that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you can alter the numbers in the front. You
Okay.
cannot alter the little ones.
Okay.
So you
Got
can
it.
change it. If this still didn't balance, we can
Yeah, you
change
can-
this yet
Yeah,
again.
we can. Okay, got it.
Yeah, these are
Just to
malleable.
equalize it, we have to make it equalize.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I wish it was easier in the front end.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing, and it's a lot of numbers. It's a lot of little details that you have to be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yes, got it.
So, and these, don't worry about these. This is just my tick mark. I
Okay.
started with 3. When I altered the C, it altered the O's. So I ended up with 5 on this side. And then I had to,
Mean the O doesn't matter anything, just H and the C is matter.
yeah,
Okay, just you have to equalize both the numbers to the same level.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
And so our last step is to get the O's to match. We've got 6 over here,
Mhm,
2 over here.
mhm.
Nice thing is it's all by itself. So what are we gonna do to that to make it 6?
3 times 3.
Yep, we're gonna put a 3 in front. It was so quiet when I started. It's my fault that they're banging today. They did the tile wrong. So they have to take down 4 of the panels and redo them. That's why they're banging. I'm sorry. 3 times 2 is 6. You are now balanced. 2 and 2 C's, 4 and 4 H's, 6 and 6 O's. And you can come back up here and double check. I've got 2 C's, and however it works for you to document it. I've got 2 C's. I've got 4 H's. I've got 2 times 2. I've got 4 H's. I've got 6 O's. Got 2 times 2, 4 plus 2. So I've got 6 O's. And we're in balance. That is your sole goal, is to get the same number of each letter, each element. And sometimes it's not as easy to get there. Sometimes it's super easy. It just depends. And sometimes you get a split, which means ignore it until you get everything else balanced. Because very often it works itself out and it's less work for you.
Okay.
Let's try
Okay,
it.
just one another thing. Yeah, like when you have the process like C, H, and O, first you have to equalize the C, and then you have to equalize the H, and then you have to
Yes.
equalize the O,
Perfect.
until you have to ignore all the next numbers.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So let's try. Let's see, let's do number 7. See if that's a little cleaner. And anytime you have a capital letter is an element. C is carbon, O is oxygen, H is hydrogen. You don't need to know these for this. But when you have a little letter, that means there's already an S. I believe S is silicone. No, I think S is sulfur. SN is silicone. So anytime you've got the little letter, that just goes with the big letter. It's one element.
Okay, it's inside the big letter.
Yeah, and I did send you guys a periodic table so you can see all this.
Okay,
It'll make a lot more sense. So this is
Yeah.
one element, not 2.
okay,
We've got SN, O, and H. Same on this side. We've got SN, O, and H. You'll always have the exact same elements. They won't add or take away. It's just the numbers. And the numbers change things. H2 is one element. It's 2 atoms of hydrogen. When you add 2 atoms of hydrogen to oxygen, you get water. So that's all these different things are. They're depicting a slightly different substance. All right, so how many SNs over here do we have?
1,
Yep. How many O's?
2,
Perfect. How many H's?
2,
Perfect. How many SNs over here?
1,
How many O's?
1,
And how many H's?
2.
Perfect. So which one is out of balance? It's just our O's, isn't it? So we need to get this O up to 2. They're connected. So what are we going to do here to make that a 2?
2.
Yep.
2 times 1 equal to.
Perfect. So now we've got 2 O's over here, but we altered our H's, didn't we?
4.
Yep. We now have 4 H's. And when you get something like this, don't worry about the first element. Get your single element in balance, then worry about the second element. So now we've got 4 over here, 2 over here. What do we need to do to get this one up to 4?
Times
Two.
2.
One. One.
Perfect. 2 times 2 is 4. We are in balance. And we didn't have to do anything to this one or this one.
1 because 1.
Nice, huh? It's a little odd. It's not quite math, but it is kind of a matching game. And so you just want to get the same number of SNs on both sides of that arrow. You want to get the same number of oxygen and the same number of hydrogens. And again, it's fine to say SNOH. You don't have to know what elements each one is because they will not ask you.
Okay, and this will be not the method as well, because in the last line, the H is first and the O is at the last.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice. Let's see, is there another not horrible one? I shouldn't say that. None of them are horrible, right?
Yeah.
No.
Let's try number 9. Let's do SE. So that's 1. That's selenium. That's chlorine, Cl, plus oxygen, or O. And when those are all combined, they turn into SeO2, selenium oxide, I think, dioxide, plus chlorine or chloride. And again, you don't need to know the terms for each one. You'll have them because they're on your periodic table. And it's sometimes fun to know, but when you get really big ones, it's like, forget it. I don't need to know. I just need to balance them. So we've got Se, we've got 3 elements, Cl, O, Se, Cl, O. Perfect. How many Ses?
1,
One.
How many Cls?
6.
6.
How many Os?
2.
2.
Nice. How many Ses?
2.
1.
One.
Perfect. How many Cls?
2.
Two.
And how many Os?
2.
2.
Perfect. We've only got 1 out of balance right now. So we need to get this up to 6.
Multiply by 3.
Yeah.
Yep,
3.
we're going to put a 3 in front.
3, 2. Yeah.
That makes it 6.
6.
Oh my gosh, we're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was super easy.
Yeah, this one, because you didn't have to mess with it. And this is a
Yeah.
good one to look at. That was number 9 on the page. And I've got more of these if you need more just to practice on.
Yes,
I
we need
definitely need them.
Yeah. It will be great.
And I tell you, you do a couple on your own and you start to get it. It's not something that comes super quick because it's not intuitive. When you look at this, if I just threw this out there and said, here, deal with that one, deal with that, you would have no idea what to do. What am I supposed to do? I don't even know. You know,
Oh, can we try this one on our own?
oh yeah, you want to do this one or do you want to?
Yeah,
yes.
try that one.
Yeah, try a nice big one.
A and N is separate, right?
Yes.
So we call that K is 1, N is 1, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
This had a lot of splits in it. So, you ready to try this one?
Yeah, I think I messed up, but it's okay.
All right, how many Ks on this side?
Two,
Two.
1,
1,
Yep. How many Ns?
1,
How many O's?
3,
3,
A,
So you've got 3 and
3, 6,
yeah. And then how many H's?
okay, when there is a plus sign, you have to add the both O.
Yeah, because the plus sign means this element
And this
or the
other element
substance
is
plus
equal.
this.
Okay, it's the same rule.
Yeah, everything on one side is together. They're two separate substances, but they're on the same side of the turns
Okay.
into arrow.
Okay,
So yeah, and it's a split. It's annoying.
and that's why you don't add the last O as well.
Yeah, so 3 and 3. And then we'll deal with the ones over here because they're separate. They're separated by the arrow.
okay.
Got it.
No.
Got it.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? How many H's on this side?
2,
And how many C's?
1.
Perfect. And this wasn't a super easy one. This one's busy. There's a lot going on. So how
Yeah.
many K's on this side?
2,
2.
2,
How many N's?
1,
1,
Perfect. How many O's?
6,
Perfect. How many H's?
1.
And how many C's?
1.
Perfect. So looking at this, it looks pretty good. Our K's are out and our H's are out. So let's just start with the K's. We've
2.
already got 2 here. So we've got to get
One,
this back to
2,
2.
1.
1 times 2.
2.
Yeah, so we're going to put that 2 right in front and we're going to fix our K.
2,
But right now, we've also got to fix our N and our O. So how many N's do we now have?
2,
2, 1, 2.
2 times 1 equal to
Perfect. And how many O's do we have on this one?
6. 6.
It'll be
Plus-
19.
6. Okay. That will
Plus-
be,
That's it.
3.
yeah.
So we now have 9. So that threw our ends out of balance. So let's deal with our end. We need to get this one up to 2. So what
Yeah.
are we going to put in to get that up to
2.
2?
2.
Yep. And so our ends are good, but we messed up our H's. So how many H's do we now have?
Have 2.
Yep, we've got 2 H's and we messed up our O. So how many O's?
6
Plus,
3.
plus 3 equals 9.
9.
now, are you in balance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like that. This one was a confusing one, but it actually wasn't so bad. But the splits are confusing and it had splits on both sides.
Yeah.
And so when you get a split, it's whatever this one plus this one.
Got you.
And so as soon
Okay.
as you altered this one to 6, it's still 6 plus 3.
Okay.
Got it.
And that's why I write them down this way. So it's easier for me to keep track.
Okay, like if there was a small element, it would be added. If the n was small, so it would be added in the k.
Yeah.
But if it
Yeah,
is a big
the N
letter,
had been
it will
small.
be equal to 1.
Yeah. And you can think of them like this. They don't put the ones in,
Yeah.
but you can certainly put them in for yourself if it helps.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does, especially when you're figuring these out. Sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, the numbers just keep everything in order. Let's
Yeah,
try
yes.
one more. Let me see if,
That is 5 or 6 number. The 5 or 6 number. I think so it's a bit hard.
yeah. Yeah, that was a wild one. It really wasn't terrible, except that you had double splits. And it just means more detail work for you when they do this. It's keeping track of more, and that's never fun. And if you are someone with test anxiety, which is probably 80% of test takers, that's even worse because you're already, your heart is palpitating and you're trying to keep track of all this little stuff, and it's not a great feeling. Let me see.
The 5th number.
I've got a couple that are, oh, we didn't do number 5, did we? Doesn't that look terrible?
Yes, it does.
Let's do number 5, just for fun. It might be the easiest one on the page, or it might not. So how many, oh, let me get it all written down. C5, H8, O2 plus Na is one element, that is sodium.
Yeah.
H plus, oh, look at this. There's a split again. And Cl is chlorine. And then we've got C5, H12, O2 plus sodium chloride. So yeah, that's a wild one. It is nice and big. How many CHO N, H is a split, Cl. How many C's on this side?
It's
5.
5, yeah. Remember this one
and yeah,
is
1.
1.
So it will be 6.
And then how many H's? Oh,
8, 10. 10.
perfect. Yep, there are 10 of them. How many O's?
2,
2.
How many NAs?
1,
And how many CLs?
1.
1.
Perfect. And then on this, oh, that's way over here, isn't it? How many C's on this side?
5.
Yes. How many H's?
12.
12.
Did I do that? CHONAs. There we go. Yeah, 12 H's. How many O's?
2.
2.
NA?
1,
One.
and CL.
1.
All right, so far, it looks like we just need to deal with our H's, doesn't it? That's not
Yeah.
fun because they're split. So we need to get this side up to 12.
Yeah.
What would be a good way? Which one do you think we should deal with to get up to 12?
2 times 6.
Which one, do right here?
In O.
You want to do it here? We can do a 2 here. That gives us 2 more H's, so 8, 9, 10. Do you think we maybe need to take it up to 4?
Yeah.
And again, we may have to do this more than once. So if we do that, we've got 8. Oh, wait, no, I messed that up. No, that's not what I wanted to do. We did 2 first. 8, 9, 10. What if we did this? 11, 12. That would give us 12 H's. Then that alters the NA. That would be 2 NAs and 2 CLs.
Yeah.
So now we're out of balance on NaCl.
So you
What
have
if-
to add 2.
Perfect.
2.
That worked out well. Sometimes even the most obnoxious looking work out, but if you start out and you cannot get them to balance, they're just not making sense, take a break from it, then redo it. But do take a
Right.
break from it because you start to see the same numbers. You your brain gets into a rut and it won't get out until you give it something else to do. So that one wasn't terrible, but you had to alter in 2 different places in order to get everything to balance.
Yes.
So
But would it have worked if you had just put 4 instead of splitting the 2 4s, the 2 2s up?
we can try it. Let me get a different color so I don't confuse. Let's try it. So if we had just put a 4 here, we would have had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
And then another 4.
and we would have had 4 NAs.
Yeah.
So we would have come over here and we would have done a 4 here, right?
4.
That would have
Yes.
put up our sodiums, but it also would have upped our CLs. So we would have come back over here and put that 2, except now we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14, another 14.
Which means you have to go back
And
to the other
another,
side.
yeah,
and
it will
add-
be taking a long process.
Yeah, and if this happens and you get a number that's really high compared to what you've got, it probably means you've got something extra. Because
Okay.
you shouldn't have to do more than 3 back and forths. And I'm certain there are some, they won't give them to you on GED, fortunately, but I'm sure there are some chemical equations where you have to bounce back and forth over and over because there will be so many. And that's not fun. It's easy. It's the more they give you, the easier it is to make an error. So the bigger the problem,
Yeah,
even
right.
in that, the more they make you write like a quadratic equation, the more you have to write, the easier it is to make a simple error. And it throws everything off.
Because it looks so easy at the end, but you have a small mistake.
Yes. All right. Whew, what do you think? Are you guys all in love with science now?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Until
Oh,
It's better, much better.
Good. And
Yeah.
I will send more of these to you so you can practice and I'll separate you 1 or 2 and I'll give you a couple of harder ones just for you to try. And it just means you probably have to go back and forth a few more times. But if you can do the hard ones, you can do the more simple, where you're just changing a couple things at a time. And that is chemistry. So if you take chemistry in college, you will be doing this.
gotcha.
Yeah, and we'll probably do them again next week because one time through is never enough. And I've
Right.
got some problems where GED is famous for going backwards. You learn it this way, and then you get into the test and they give it to you backwards.
Mhm.
They'll like give you the answer and they want you to reverse engineer it, but that's not where you are because you're like, wait, no, I had to fill in the numbers.
Right.
And so I've got problems that are backwards and sideways because
Okay.
GE is famous for doing that to you. Oh, you learned it this way? We're going to present it completely differently.
Mhm.
Because it throws you, especially if you're under stress. It's like, I can't even think how to do it backwards.
Right.
So, yeah, they're lovely. If I was in charge, that test would be very different.
Wish you was in charge.
I wish I was in charge because it's ridiculous. Some of the stuff you have to do on this is ridiculous. It's like, I'm trying to get myself into college. I can take these classes in college.
Mhm.
So, all right, well, that was good. And I will send everyone some extra stuff.
Yeah.
Some that are typical GED. Next week, we'll do the same stuff, but presented differently.
Okay.
And then the
Yeah.
week after that, we will do,
Scientific method, it's very hard to.
oh, yes,
Which one?
yes,
Scientific
better do
method.
that.
You know,
And someone had requested velocity and distance and all that.
yeah,
Acceleration.
the
I don't
wave
have a clue about
song,
none of it, so
song
I'm up
wave,
for it.
wave song too. They have so many homework. It's very hard to.
Yeah. And it's funny because the science test really focuses on, I mean, it's mostly reading, but the more mathy stuff, they're pretty limited. They really like chemical equations. They really like Punnett squares, and they really like acceleration and velocity. And if you've got those big things under your belt, the rest of it is pretty much read it and pull the answer out of what they gave you. Kind of like language arts and social studies.
I guess my hardest thing is pulling it out.
Yeah. And they never give it to you in a way that it should be presented. It's kind of like
Mhm.
yesterday, that question, my mom was visiting and I read it to her and she's like, that's ridiculous. Who's supposed to answer that? And I said, I know. It's not teaching you anything. And she's been teaching forever, you know, she was a teacher most of my life. And she's like, what a stupid question to give people. I
It
know.
was.
It's not helping them move forward at all.
You have to be more
Mhm.
smart then.
All right. Well, don't stress about these. If it didn't gel today, it will. It takes several runs through, and you'll have the video. I'll make sure it's up by tomorrow. I try to get them within 24 hours. Sometimes they take a while to upload, and then I get doing something else. And I'll send you more.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So everyone have a great rest of your week. I will
I have
see
a question,
most of you
please.
Monday.
All right. Thanks a lot. And you have a good rest of the week
Have a
as
great
well.
weekend.
Question, please. Do you have
Thank you, Miss Robin. Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And you had a question.
yeah, do you have you do the same Zoom with the charge?
Yeah, I do it via Zoom, but we go much deeper
Mhm.
because
Yes.
it's a smaller group. And if it's one-on-one, we do
Yeah.
only what you need. If you know how to do something, we don't spend time on it because it's to get you through as fast as you can.
Oh, I want to do the same Zoom with the group, study with the group.
Yep.
I want.
I will get that information out in the group. I meant to do that last weekend and I got busy,
You
but I
have
will
a,
make sure it's up
you have,
there.
you have already students. They going for science now.
Yes.
I wanna join with, but you have to send me the payment so I can pay to start with.
I will
Please.
do that. And
Please.
then that way it'll be more focused on what you need
Yes.
as
Yes.
opposed to, I'm going to give you this because it'll show up somewhere.
Yeah, I would like to get all the topic with all practicing and go through to the, I missed 2 times, I missed the by point. Oh,
It's
yeah.
so
I
frustrating.
don't want to be more delay. I already stressful. I don't want to take more time. Please, I want to go for it.
I totally get it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And don't forget, please, to get me the information.
I will do that.
Okay.
Thank
I-
you.
I'm gonna sign up and say the
Okay.
payment to start with. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a
Bye.
great day, Robyn. Thank you. And happy Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Thanks.